Good morning, class. So we are now heading to another chapter, which is chapter 7, with the topic of value and demand-based pricing. For the learning outcomes for this chapter, so at the end of the lesson, you'll be able to understand what is value-based pricing, the marginal pricing, and lastly, demand backward pricing. First, what is value-based pricing? So, actually, this was already discussed in chapter 2, no, sa mga basic pricing strategy. So, a value-based pricing is a strategy in which companies decide the price of their products or service based on the value or estimated value perceived by the consumer. So, hindi siya actually based on the cost, no, kung usually, di ba, ito yung pag nagpe-presyo tayo ng product is based on the cost na ginamit natin in producing the product. So for example, yung mga smartphones, especially yung Apple, no, so when they sell iPhone smartphones, they set the price higher because of the value ng brand sa mata ng mga customers. So if a customer focused pricing strategy where the price of the product is decided, no, so based on the cost of the production, but for the worth it holds in the eyes of its consumer. So the reason behind using the pricing strategy is to see how much your customers would be willing to pay to own or buy the product. But take note na hindi lahat ng product o all types ng product ay appropriate yung strategy na to. When can we use value-based pricing? So we have 4 core principle ng VBP. No? So first is the utility. So it measures how well the product solves a problem or fulfills a need for the customer. So yung product with high quality na nagpo-provide ng clear, tangible benefits such as yung saving time, improving health, or enhancing the convenience. So if customers find the product very helpful in our daily lives, well, it increases its value significantly. Next is yung scarcity. So it refers on how rare or exclusive yung product. So limited availability, through limited edition, unique features, or difficult to replicate, no, yung quality niya, can increase the perceived value and, of course, the demand. If no other product offers the same combination of benefits or experiences, your product will stand out in the market. So next is the brand association. So it's all about the emotional and mental connection ng customers to make a brand. So a brand perceived as premium, trustworthy, or innovative can enhance the product's appeal. So a positive brand perception often translates to increased customer loyalty at yung willingness to pay in premium or in a higher price. Last is yung peer influence. So peer influence involves the social proof, like how your friends, your family, the influencers, or yung respected figures, celebrities na nagto-talk about with the product. So endorsements from trusted sources or seeing yung peers mo na using this product can strongly sway buying decisions, especially among younger demographics now with or they are in trend or trend-driven markets. Is how do you or what are the steps in implementing a value-based pricing? So of course, first is you have to assess your customers' needs and value perception. So in this, you have to identify your target segments. You have to research yung kanilang needs, preferences, and what they truly value. Then you have to understand how your product improve their life or business. Next is you have to set target price to match the customer's perceived value. So gaano ba? How much the worth na kanilang pwedeng bayaran. Then next is of course determine the cost that can be incurred. Magkano ba yung gagastusin natin in producing and marketing our product. And of course, it will follow by designing the product to deliver the desired value at a target price. So depende sa perceived value ng product in different segments of market. benefits that we can get in value-based pricing. So first, of course, is the greater profitability potential. So by aligning prices with what customers are willing to pay, so based on the product's perceived value, of course, business can capture higher margins. So instead of underpricing value offerings, companies maximize revenue without necessarily increasing the cost of production. Next is enhanced customer satisfaction. So yung customer, if they feel that the price reflects the value they receive, it builds trust and satisfaction. So this perception strengthens the loyalty and encourages repeat business or purchase, as customers believe they're getting a fair and worthwhile deal for their money. So next is yung better alignment with market demand. So value-based pricing forces companies to deeply understand what customers want and what they value most. No? Kung ano yung mas importante talaga at kung ano talaga yung gusto ng ating customers. So this insight helps tailor products and service more effectively, ensuring a stronger fit and with real market needs and driving demand. What are the advantages of value-based pricing? So first is increased value of the brand. So the first and foremost advantage of using VBP is the increased value of the brand. So the high price of the products makes people think that the product is more superior, of course, in quality. So the value of the brand increases in the eyes of the customers. Next is the increased profit. So if your products, if the customers rather value your product and they are willing to buy it at any price, then you have an opportunity to charge a high price for the product, and in this way you can generate higher profit by selling the same units of the products. Third is yung customer loyalty. So when you consider the opinion of your customers and creates a product to satisfy their needs, then they are also feel loyal to your company. Siyempre, di ba kayo, pag nasusunod yung gusto nyo, you feel you are valued by the company. Last is supply and demand balance. So when you should always know the approximate number of customers who can afford your product and are willing to pay the high price to buy the product. So having an idea of the demand of the product, no, in the market, it helps the business to create your supply accordingly based on the demand. Of course, we also have disadvantages in using value-based pricing. First is difficulty in assessing customers' value. So it's often hard to put a quantifiable measure on how much a customer values a product. So wala siya actually numbers or quantity na kaya nating i-express or i-assess in numbers yung value or yung how much ba yung value na nakikreate or nakikita ng customer sa product natin. Next is the potential backlash. So if customers perceive the price is as too high compared to the value they derive, it can lead to dissatisfaction, diba? Kapag naman nagbayad kayo ng mas mahal at hindi nyo naman nakita na yung product is worth that price, medyo dismaya lang, no? Last is the constant market research. So to ensure the alignment with the customer's values perception, regular market research is essential. So we have to regularly research. Actually, we have to assess ano ba talaga yung gusto ng customers, that we can produce products that can fit the needs ng ating and wants of our customer. Compare the value-based and demand-based pricing. So of course, on the aspect of focus, customer perceived value, and when it comes to demand-based pricing, market demand and elasticity. So for the application on value-based pricing, premium, it can be we can say that is premium, high value yung product or yung service, while in demand-based pricing, it's dynamic and competitive market. On the complexity, value-based pricing requires understanding customer psychology, while in demand-based pricing requires the real-time data and technology. When it comes to stability, value-based pricing generally more stable. Of course, we have because we are measuring the demand actually, no, or the preferences of our customer. While in demand-based pricing, price fluctuates with demand. When it comes to customer perception, value-based pricing enhances the brand and customer loyalty, while in demand-based pricing, the risk of perceived unfairness and exploitation is the marginal pricing. So what is this? So it's a practice of setting a product's price to cover the variable expenses or resulting from the producing an additional unit. So a marginal cost is the cost of production one extra unit of a product. So it does not contain any fixed cost like new monthly rents, machine cost, or any other cost that does not vary with the number of units of products being produced. So total cost of production of a unit of a product consists of the marginal cost as well as the costs that are fixed. So ano ba yung marginal cost natin? Ito yung mga expenses or that incurred in producing one unit of product. In marginal pricing is fairly used in travel industry. So airlines like airlines, resorts, and hotels need a minimum number of seats or rooms to fill or a minimum of number of people to check in to achieve a profit. So when they are underbooked, they not only not get the revenue but also face losses due to maintenance costs and employee salaries that have to be fulfilled. However, the business is running. So some websites are have bidding facilities so that customers can name the price they would like to pay, such as underbooked places can get in some revenue. So isa dito yung mga airlines actually, di ba? They have to charge the customers, no, depende sa seat prices, no, and then the airline have to go o kailangan na nilang lumipad actually, mapuno man o hindi based on the schedule. Kaya nga doon na uso din yung booking na yan because they are measuring kung kikita ba sila o hindi doon sa number of people o number of customers na nag-avail ng kanilang product or service. So another example of marginal cost pricing. So a company in printing books ang example. So yung machine cost would cost a 1 million that can produce 100,000 books. So monthly rent for the production facility is 20,000 with 10,000 books being produced each month. So 20,000 times 10 is equals to 200,000 for 100,000. So the unit fixed cost is machine cost minus over book and rent to over book. So the variable cost, so yung page and ink cost ng bawat book na ipoproduce is 200 pages per book at 50 pesos based on our 100 rupees. So ito sa India yata to. So yung bukod pa yung electricity and labor which is 10 per book. So the total variable cost is 100 plus 10 is equals to 110 per book. Yung total fixed cost is 12 per book if the fixed cost is divided among to the number of books produced. So the total cost of production is 122, no? So pero ang marginal cost niya is 110 per book since it's the only cost ng nung page or yung paper and then yung ink, no? So hindi kasama yung fixed yung electricity and labor, no? So if a company is selling books at 130, the profit above marginal cost is 20. So the producing 60,000 will take care of all the fixed costs invested in the production facility. Disadvantages and advantages of a marginal pricing strategy. So an aspect of cost efficiency. So the advantage is it reflects the cost of production one additional unit, promoting efficiency. And for the disadvantage, it ignores the fixed cost, potentially leading to unsustainable sustainable pricing. When it comes to market competitiveness, it attracts price-sensitive customers and supports penetration pricing. While the disadvantage, it may trigger price wars, eroding industry profitability. In the terms of revenue management, it maximizes contribution margin by covering variable costs and contributing to the fixed cost, but unsuitable for industries with high fixed costs leading to potential financial crisis. When it comes to decision simplicity, it simplifies the pricing decision by focusing on the variable cost, knowing how much cost we needed to produce the product. So but on the other hand, it encourages short-term thinking misaligned with long-term business goals. Of consumer perception, one of the advantages of marginal pricing is its temporary price reduction can clear excess inventory and attract customers, while prolonged use may reduce perceived value of products or service as its disadvantage. When it comes to market entry, it is useful to new products launches or entering new market with competitive pricing, but it is difficult to sustain in a long term without addressing total cost recovery. And for the scalability, it facilitates production scaling by leveraging low variable costs. But in its disadvantage, it is complex to implement in multi-product scenarios due to the variable cost interactions. Lastly is the demand backward pricing. So it's an approach in which the price of a product or service is based on the consumers are prepared to pay. So demand back pricing objective is to find a price point that meets both the needs of the customers and the company. So in this, manufacturers have the options to deliberately lowering the product quality in order to reach the target price in cases that the sales are low. So demand backwards pricing is also useful when company is entering a new market and wants to quickly establish a customer's base without having to lower its prices later on. So in this type of strategy, parang baliktad siya ng value base or demand base, no? Kasi kaya nga backward. So in this, we have to know gaano ba yung kayang bayaran ng customer natin. Hindi yung alamin natin kung magkano ba yung willing to pay. In this type of strategy, we need to know gaano lang ba yung budget ng target customer natin. Then, we will now lower the quality to meet the target price o yung kanilang kayang bayaran. Backward pricing works. So first, we have to identify the target market and the customer segments. Next is determine the customer's perceived value of the products or service. Then use the customer feedback and market research to establish an optimal price range. Next is to determine the cost associated with delivering the product or service. Then ensure that the price are set in higher than the cost but lower than the competitors' prices. Next is regularly review and adjust the price based on the external factors such as competition and market trends. Of demand backward pricing. First is the higher profits. So by setting prices based on customers' perceived value, businesses can charge higher prices and increase their profits. It also increases the customer loyalty. So customers are more likely to stay loyal to the brand that offers them good value for their money. Third is competitive advantage. Businesses can gain competitive advantage by offering better value than their competitors. We also have better understanding of customers by focusing on customers' perceived value. Businesses gain a better understanding of their customers' needs and preferences. Lastly, it increases customer satisfaction. So while the customers are more satisfied when they feel that they are getting good value for their money. So there are many benefits that a company can enjoy by using demand backward pricing. So some of the benefits or importance that we can gain from it. It helps companies to quickly establish a customer base in new markets since we are offering lower prices. It allows a companies to find a perfect balance between what the customer is willing to pay and what the company needs to make a profit. It helps a companies to reach their target price without incurring any losses. And it also helps the companies deliberately lower the quality of their product in cases that the sales are low. If there's some benefits that we can gain, we also have some drawbacks of using demand backward pricing. So first, it can lead to the decline in the product quality. if the manufacturers deliberately lower the quality of their products to reach or to meet the target price. It can create a situation where the company is caught in a race up to the bottom, where each company tries to undercut the prices of their to to its competitors. So these are the times na yung competition or yung competitors natin is we're trying to reduce both the prices kung nagkapababaan tayo. Last, it can lead to customer dissatisfaction if they feel that they are not getting value for the money. Okay, some examples of demand backward pricing. So a company launches a new product in the market and sets the price based on what the consumers are willing to pay. A company deliberately lowers the quality of its product to reach the target price or meet the customer's target price. A company sets the price of its products based on the perceived value of the products of the customer to the customers. And lastly, a company sets the price of its product based on the demand and supply. The end. So very short lang in chapter 7. So thank you for listening. We're going to have a short quiz next meeting before we proceed to chapter 8.